Chef Peter from Alberta. Grew up there, worked in some of the hotels there, in the pastry, baking as well. And today I'm speaking about fruits and veg from Europe. So it's all fresh. It's readily available in parts of Canada. And today I'm just going to show you something simple: how to do a nice zucchini bread that can be nice and light, nice and moist. That can be made quickly, within minutes, and it'll be great. Even the kids will love it as well. Just don't tell them it's zucchini; they'll think it's healthy. So anyway, what I'm going to do is start with my dry ingredients. I have all ingredients ready here. These will be ready. Recipes will be on the website later. If you can look for it later. So what I have here is flour, 60 grams of flour. I have some ground almonds, 140 grams. I have some icing sugar as well. It's important to note that during the storage, etc., sometimes there can be lumping. Flour, a little bit, almonds for sure, because they're quite high in fat, and sugar also, because it clumps quite easily. So I'm just going to sieve these all together, because I'm going to mix everything in my hand. You don't need a machine for this, a mixer. So you want to make sure that there are no lumps for you to press, or press out. So I started with the flour, icing sugar here. Yeah, just gently tap your whisk, or sieve, sorry. Don't press the lumps in. Yeah, just sieve it until there will be usually a few tiny little lumps in there, which is negligible. Yeah. So when it comes to the almonds, this one here, okay, this sieve here actually has large holes in it, so I think the ground almonds will go through. If not, that's okay. Yeah, they're going through. So some sieves have quite small holes in them, and it's almost impossible for ground almonds, to get through. So it seems to be okay. So I sieve these three dry ingredients together: ground almonds, icing sugar, and flour. There we go. I'm just going to stir it a bit, yeah, with the whisk, just to combine all these dry ingredients. This will make it much easier to whisk in and fold in all the wet ingredients. So basically it's there, that's what it looks like. Now for this type of recipe here, I prefer not using bread flour. I'll use like a soft flour. I mean, all-purpose is good. It's a little bit softer than bread flour. Because it's a pastry item, right? You want it to be nice and soft. You don't want it to be chewy. You use bread flour or something stronger, it can be kind of chewy. So that's that. So what we have next is nutmeg. Nutmeg, a little bit of nutmeg. Yeah, I'll stir that in. Now the other ingredients to go in, there's only 3 more ingredients. There's egg white and melted butter, and of course the zucchini. So now what I'm going to do with the egg white here is I'm going to whisk it up first. Okay. I already broke them here, make it a little bit easier. Yeah, so I'm just going to break these up a bit. That's it, just so they're a little bit loose, because egg whites can be a bit gobby, if you will, so it doesn't fold in so nice. So you need to break up that structure a bit. Is what I'm doing. So all it takes is 20-30 seconds and some elbow grease. And there we go. Now I'm just folding it in with a spatula. You don't need to stir vigorously or anything like that. You just want to fold it in nicely. Take to the bottom, bring it to the top. There we go. Mixed. Yeah. Now, my melted butter. Just make sure your melted butter is not hot. You got to melt it and then let it cool down a bit. Otherwise, it's going to affect your batter. So just give it a bit of a stir, and I'll do it in stages so it mixes in a little bit easier. There we go. Get all the butter out. So this is going to make it nice and rich. This recipe here has 2/3 of a cup of butter. So it makes about 10, 12 portions, maybe a little bit more. Depends how big you make your portions. But it's going to have a nice rich flavor to it. Nice, rich, buttery flavor. Okay. That's what it should look like there. It's like semi-fluid. It's like typical batter. Now what I'm going to do here is usually I have rectangular molds, but I didn't have new ones. And they tend to be, you have to have them relatively new so the product slides out quickly. So what I'm going to use here, I got a relatively new pan, but just to make sure that that it releases and it doesn't get stuck, I'm just going to use a little bit of bake release spray in the bottom. And my ice cream scoop. I'm going to get ready because I'm going to use that to portion out. Last thing I'm going to add is my zucchini. So here, this is all nicely grated. Yeah, you want some nice chunky shreds. You don't want too fine. Because you want some substance, right? Now this is raw zucchini. Yeah, it's just fresh and washed and grated just before I started my recipe here. You can do it a little bit in advance, of course. It doesn't dry out or lose any moisture or anything like that. Zucchini is quite good. Unless you're cooking or sauteing, then it loses a lot of moisture. In this case here, we're just using it fresh. And even through the baking process, it doesn't lose a lot of moisture. All right, so that's what it looks like once the zucchini's been added. Okay, now we're ready to do our portions. Now you want to fill up these cups, whether it's rectangular shape or oval or round shape, as you see here. You want to fill them up about 3/4 full. The batter doesn't come up that much in the oven, so don't worry about overfilling. So 3/4, that's probably about the extent that you want to go. Okay. Even them out here a little bit. Make sure I get every last drop here. I have a funny thing about being a chef and wastage. So I like to use every last drop where possible. Okay, now I'm just going to clean off the top here, because sometimes during the baking process, if you have any batter that's on the top here, it burns. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Yeah, you can see how they're quite full, just shy of the top. And I'm going to put it in the oven. Okay, set my timer. And we're going to let those bake for approximately 25 to 30 minutes. But fortunately, I accounted for this. I have some ready. So I was in a little bit earlier today, early in the morning for you guys. So I prepared the same ones, the same batch. Yeah. Zucchini cakes. I made a little bit of mandarin compote because something that's a bit zesty, a little bit sweet also, and complements the cake quite well. You'll see here if I break it open, it's super moist. You can tell it's kind of a little bit dense, and that's because of the butter, the melted butter, and also the egg white as well. Do we have any questions?
Yes, we received some questions also for this, and the first one is do I need to whip up the egg whites?
The egg whites, no, you don't need to whip it up like a meringue, if that's what you're asking. All you want to do is just whisk it, just to loosen up that texture. Because, like I mentioned, the egg white is kind of like a bit globby. It's, so you want to break up that structure, so it's a bit more fluid. It's easier to mix in that way.
Yes, the next one is, can I use normal sugar?
Normal sugar, the reason why I use icing sugar, because that dissolves really quickly. Granulated sugar, it takes a little while to dissolve. So you can use it, but you might find that you have a little bit of a gritty or a sandy texture when you're eating, which is fine, if that's what you like. But this is the reason why this particular recipe uses icing sugar. Dissolves much quicker.
And the last one is, on your suggestion, what can I use
instead of zucchini? Okay, you could probably use a shredded carrot, even pumpkin as well. That might be nice, pumpkin and with a bit of cinnamon as well. So you can substitute with other vegetables if you want. Fruits, probably not this particular recipe here. The fruits tend to lose a lot of moisture, but certain vegetables like pumpkin, carrot, zucchini, these ones they don't lose moisture in the baking process. So they can be swapped in and out quite easily. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Yeah. Please try the recipe, and I hope you enjoy.